Hey everyone, Megan O, and this is your 2024 market recap and your 2025 market predictions for Dallas-Fort Worth. We are going to cover primarily the Dallas-Plano Irving side of the Metroplex, which will include Dallas County, Denton County, Collin County, Rockwell County, Kaufman County, Ellis County, Hunt County. All right, what did I predict last year in our market forecast for 2024? And how did I grade myself? Well, I predicted that we would have pent-up demand for 2024 and we would have a larger surplus of buyers and sellers transacting in 2024. I also predicted that we would have interest rates dropping a bit. And of course, I predicted that we would have continued growth in Dallas-Fort Worth. Was I right? Well, I give myself an A- on that one. We did actually confirm that we had pent-up demand and growth. We'll get into that stat. And we did confirm that we've had a lot of relocation to Dallas-Fort Worth still. But as far as rates go, they were still hovering between 6 and 7 most of the year in 2024. There was a couple times when we had people that were able to get down low under 6 and maybe into the 5s. But again, it had to be good credit situations and a variety of other factors. So I give myself an A- for that prediction. What are our actual 2024 results? What actually happened? And remember, this is for the Dallas-Plano Irving side of the Metroplex. All right, well, we had the 9th best year in the history of collecting the real estate data for the Dallas-Plano Irving area that we've been recording. Why did we have such a good 2024? Well, our fourth quarter had all to do with that. If you recall, pent-up demand. And for most of the year in the beginning, it was pretty normal, typical. Then we started to see an influx in Q3 and certainly in Q4. We had one of the busiest Q4s in our business that we've had in a while. And we found that most people just were tired of waiting around for this election. They started doing the transaction before even the election was over and then continued after the election was over. So a strong fourth quarter made the overall 2024 numbers higher than 2023. So year over year better. We didn't do as great as 2022, but again, 2022 was the tail end of our COVID market. So what did those numbers actually look like? Overall stats for the Dallas-Plano Irving area. Sales were up by 3%. Prices were slightly down by about 1%, which we did expect. And our inventory increased. It went up by a lot, but to 3 to 4 months. Still not a buyer's market. We'll talk about that more in a minute, but it did go up in the DPI area. Now, that gives the sellers still a slight advantage. However, there can be micro areas where we have inventory at 5 months or more, or inventory less than 3 months. An example is Allen, right where I live. In Allen, for the year, we ended at 2.9 months worth of inventory, and we can confirm that in Allen, you'll be in a bidding war if you're a buyer, and you'll probably get a bidding war if you're a seller, provided your property's priced correctly and its condition is ready to go. If neither one of those are in order, you're probably not going to fall in that category or your property flies off the market in Allen. But overall, Allen, very desirable, lower inventory, more of a seller's advantage. Buyers need to be aware and ready to negotiate. All right, let's do a Collin County overview for 2024, just so you can see one snapshot of one county in our area that we service and what they did for 2024. Collin County had sales up by 15% year over year to 1240. That means we had more sales in the year of 2024 than we did in 2023. Why is that? All that pent-up demand. The sellers that were waiting to see what happened and the buyers that wanted to get in the marketplace. Prices went down by 2.1% to $565,770, but that's still not a low drop. It's not a massive drop, and we're not really going to see a massive drop in sales prices below where they were in COVID or even back where they were 10 years ago. That's just not how real estate works. Once it goes up, it goes up. The peaks will level out, and then we will get normal pricing. Now, as far as inventory, overall, Collin County had 2.9 months of inventory for the entire year. That was a 38% increase year over year. But if you recall, we were still coming out of the COVID market in 2023, and we still needed inventory to come to market in order to create more inventory than we had. And Collin County was one of the ones that transacted the most out of all the major counties that we talked about in 2024. It had the most sales. So here are some 2025 hot real estate topics that people might be chatting about or might be in the news that you would be curious about. First is new construction. We know new construction is going to continue into this year. For 2024, there were 53,160 new home starts in 2024. 17% of them being in Salina, and Princeton being another big area for new construction. That's not going to slow down. We're going to see that continue in 2025. If not the same, it might be a little bit higher. Now, I'm sure you might have heard, maybe not, that Princeton put kind of a moratorium on new construction neighborhoods being developed in Princeton for right now. We don't think that's going to be a perpetual thing. We think that right now they want to slow the growth, making sure it is not going to grow too fast to where their infrastructure cannot support a city of that size. So for right now, no new neighborhoods will be started, but existing neighborhoods can complete. And if they haven't begun to build homes in there, they can still build homes, but there's no new neighborhoods. Now, that's been a misconception with our audience of clients, thinking that Princeton is not going to allow any new construction at all, period. Like you can't build a house at all. That's incorrect. It's just no new neighborhoods are going to be built right now. That's kind of a pause so that they can gain infrastructure to support a city of that size. They don't want to grow too fast. And they watched other cities do that in the Metroplex, and they decided they were going to act differently when it came time to grow Princeton. And Princeton, by the way, is still one of the most affordable areas in Collin County if you are looking for affordability. One of the next hot topics in real estate that we're going to talk about is the luxury market. I don't typically talk about that, but it is fascinating to see what has happened over the last several years, especially since our COVID market drove our prices up. We now have more homes available in Dallas-Fort Worth over $1 million than we've ever had. So now we've become the luxury market in the U.S. for everybody to look at. We have more homes between $1 million and $9 million than we've ever had in our history. And now people moving here, relocating from areas like New York or California or some of the other more well-to-do areas, can come here and buy a house in cash and still have cash for other options, other investments, things like that, because we are still relatively affordable. Another area is the ultra luxury. All of a sudden, we hit the map for ultra luxury. What is that? That is 10 million and up. We weren't really ever on the map as a market for 10 million and up until last year. Now, all of a sudden, we have listings in that 10 million and up that are becoming eye catchers for other people across the country and across the world looking for those types of properties, and where can they find them? Now it's Dallas-Fort Worth. Another area is called build to rent. McKinney being the number one area in 2024 with build to rent projects. What is build to rent? Well, they basically build homes that are not going to be sold to homeowners, but are going to be rented to people. These homes are single family homes, some townhome concepts, but a lot of them single family, like zero lot line garden style, like no real yard. And the investors that buy them, they do all the maintenance. They also pay all the taxes. They take care of everything, and then they rent the property out. Now, why is this desirable? Well, people relocating to our area for work or whatnot, because there's a lot of that going on, may want to live in a house. They have kids, they have dogs, they have pets. They don't want to rent an apartment. They want to go ahead and live in a house, but they aren't sure they want to buy. And they may only have a 3-year relocation situation, so they don't know that they want to buy. Where do they go? Well, they want to rent a house. And this concept is very hot right now for investors. And there's a lot of growth. Just drive anywhere in McKinney, you can see it. You can also see it in Anna, in some of the other northern areas of Collin County. Now, next, overall, it's a good investors market still. Now, I know a lot of investors, especially those who've kind of grown up in this area, think that we are high priced, and we certainly are. There's a lot of pricing. But if you compare our market to other markets that are much more expensive, we become affordable. In addition to that, we still have low inventory. When we have low inventory, that means people can't find enough houses to buy, so they're just going to continue to rent. They might start their search, become troubled and depressed that they can't find what they're looking for, and then just go back and renew their lease for another 12 months. We have at least 1 to 2 of those every year that just don't buy because they just can't find what they want, so they go ahead and renew the lease. That's going to continue, and that's going to make investors continue to come here. and invest foreign money and local money in our investors market. Now let's talk about some misleading myths that you might have already heard in the news just in January of 2025. So we heard that Newsweek announced an article that Dallas-Fort Worth is going to become a buyer's market. Now, if you remember earlier in the video, I said stay tuned so I can explain that. No, we are not going to become a buyer's market. Why? To have a buyer's market, you need 6 months of inventory or more. We are hovering between 3 and 4 in most of the Dallas, Plano, Irving counties that I mentioned, even with areas like Allen at only 2.9 months of inventory and Collin County at 2.9. That's not enough inventory to convert to a buyer's market, and we are not going to see enough inventory come online in 2025 to convert to a buyer's market. So Newsweek is wrong. Sorry. Next up, there was a lot of misleading information about the Sitzer-Burnett lawsuit. This was the class action lawsuit that impacted the real estate industry in 2024 because a settlement was announced that was going to change the practices for buyers, agents, and agents in general. I have to tell you, this did not change our business, nor was it a change for Texas, because we already were one of the 12 states that had laws in place that already directed agents to do what the lawsuit told us to do. In essence, all this lawsuit did was give us a little bit extra paperwork. There is a little bit extra paperwork, including a new way to do something just as of January 2025 that we are still working through. It's a few extra forms that get added to the contract. It's a few extra steps in our process, but it is nothing different than what we had to do before. We'll link to the Sitzer-Burnett information from the National Association of Realtors and other sites that you should really peruse that. And of course, reach out to us if you have any questions. Overall, though, we are still required to put buyers in contracts as agents so that we can represent you with a full fiduciary duty. We are still required to have that contract to open a door and show you a property, and all compensation is negotiable and always has been. Definitely talk to us if you have any questions. And that brings us to our predictions of 2025. What's going to happen? Well, inventory is going to go up. We're going to see our new normal amount of inventory probably hovering between 4 and 5 months like it was in 2019 before COVID hit. But it's going to be lousy inventory. What do I mean by that? Well, it's going to be in areas that buyers might not seem to like further out, right? If they were living in Allen, but they wanted to buy at, let's say, under $400,000, they're not going to find much. And if they do, it's going to be not at all what they want. So we're going to go to Anna or Van Alstyne maybe and find something, right? We're going to go north or east or west. And then, of course, there's going to still be a lot of inventory that is not released. We know that 43% of the baby boomers will not be selling their property. They will be staying in it until they can no longer stay in it. So for more than 10 years, they will be staying in these homes. And that's according to Housing Wire. And that's going to mean a lot of inventory that doesn't come to market for all of our millennials and our Gen Z that will next be purchasing. Those people are going to be coming online this year and the following years to purchase, and we just won't have enough inventory for them. So that's something to think about. It's going to keep us in a seller's market with a slight advantage, but it is not going to flip us to a buyer's market this year, probably not even for several more years, because we continue to have growth and not enough homes. Moving is still going to happen. We are still going to have relocation. We are still going to have companies that have identified that they are relocating to Dallas, Plano, Irving area, and they are going to slowly move their employees over to this area, which means continued relocation. We also, of course, are always going to have the 5 Ds: divorce, death, diapers, marriage, of course, which is diamonds, and downsizing. So people are going to continue to move out of a normal need to move. So they need to downsize, they need to upsize, they get divorced, they get married, they have a baby, whatever the situation is. That's normal in real estate, and that's usually what we have going on. Now, what are rates going to do? Stay the same. We might have a month where it goes down a little bit. I doubt it, though. We're probably going to stay between 6 and 7%. You would be on the lower end with well-qualified credit and a rate buy down, okay? So what are you waiting for? You need to get in the game and buy a house now or sell now if you are waiting. Don't wait any longer. The prices will level out and they'll stay this way. So if you wanted to buy a house for, let's say, $350,000, The house that was $350,000 2 or 3 years ago looked very different than in what it looks like now. That $350,000 house 2 years ago is now probably $375,000, if not $395,000, right? So think about it this way. If you wait 2, 3, 4 more years, that $350,000 house right now will be $375,000, $395,000, whatever it might be. We do still have normal appreciation going on. 5 to 7, 8%, depending on your area, is normal and average appreciation. We can have areas where it's greater. There were areas of Dallas-Fort Worth that were greater than 8% this year in 2024. So bottom line, don't wait to transact. Get started in 2025. See you guys next time.
I'm Megan O, a realtor and a certified divorce real estate expert with Compass Real Estate.